Hello, ladies and gentlemen out there watching on YouTube, and welcome to race number 13 of Season 10 of the NNSCRA Marvel Studios Cup Series. I am Levi McIntyre, the voice of the NNSCRA Marvel Studios Cup Series, here to welcome you to the Radmin VPN 400 at Michigan International Speedway as we are getting set for 30 laps of racing at this classic 2-mile track, and we also, starting with this race over the next 9 races, we are in the longest swing of the season, the Midwest swing, here throughout until about 2 weeks from Friday. We're going to be running a race at a Midwest track exclusively. So this is going to be an interesting stretch of races, no matter how you slice it. And it begins here at Michigan. But a look at the top 10 in the point standings. Michael Norman still hangs on to the points lead by 25 points over a 3-way tie for second. Jay Jefferson, Keith Miller Jr., and Kyle Matthews. 40 points over Cole Deaver, 80 points over Daniel DK, 100 points over our pole setter for today, James Qualls, 140 over Scott Groverston, 165 over Carson Gum, and 195 over Laney Marino. But the top 10 on the starting lineup for the race today, James Qualls is on the pole with Charles Sanford starting next to him. Row 2, we have DJ Curtis and Laney Marino. Row 3, Dylan Young, Lindsey Snyder. Row 4, Scott Groverston, Michael Norman. And then row 5, Matt McIntyre and William Brock. Let's get the command to fire engines for the Radmin VPN 400 at Michigan.
Drivers, start your engines!
All 40 drivers now on the racetrack for the pace lap here. So, yeah, with this track being as fast as it is, with the bankings we have, we could expect to see some crazy racing perhaps, and some pit strategy. After all, this track has been notorious for pit strategy in the past, where sometimes it comes down to fuel mileage, other times it can come down to who has the best tires. But a lot of drivers in this field are looking to either add on to their momentum by getting a win or two here today, or some drivers trying to break long winless streaks. One of which being the points leader, Michael Norman, who, despite leading the points, he hasn't won a race in, I think, 2 or maybe even 3 seasons. It's been a while for that number 21 driver, Michael Norman, since he'd been to victory lane. And same going for drivers who are looking to return to their former glory, like a DJ Curtis, like a Dylan Young, like a Charles Sanford. A lot of people looking to try and get some sort of momentum going forward, heading throughout the rest of this rest of the season, as we are a third of the way through the season, and the championship battle has already been ramping up in a big way as the pace car is pulling into pit road. And ladies and gentlemen, you all know what time it is. That's right, it's time to boogity 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 go racing. Charles Sanford using the outside lane to make the pass, and he leads the first lap. But it's a bit of a hornet's nest for position behind him, as a lot of drivers jockeying for position Dylan Young trying to get up there to the 03, but he's got a 3-wide challenge underneath of him with Matt McIntyre trying to use the middle lane and Rafael Leduc trying to use the bottom to make the move past Dylan Young, and they clear him, as Dylan Young must have lost a ton of momentum and lost several spots. But Charles Sanford, who also has not been to victory lane in a long time and has struggled to make races ever since he came back in the series back in Season 9, and we have a crash. Dylan Young, Carson Gum, Alex Ferranti, Joey Parkhill involved. Oh my goodness! Big hit from Cody Lamas, sending Carson Gum upside down. Jesse Turner also with damage, as Carson and Lamas' cars on pit road after they made heavy contact on the back straightaway. But Charles Sanford still leads here at Michigan as everybody's slowing down to get to the pace car. Curious to know how all that occurred. And look at all the smoke and the skid marks all the way down the back straightaway here. But Charles Sanford is the race leader here at Michigan. But we're going to wait for a moment and see if anybody's going to come down to pit road here at the early going. Because if they do, it will certainly put the pit window into jeopardy for a lot of drivers. And I don't see any of the leaders pulling off to get to pit road. Although I did see James Qualls decide to, looks like he's going to come in. I don't know if he made any contact in that wreck or not. I don't believe he did. Maybe this is strategy? I don't know. It might come back to bite them, but you never know what can happen here at Michigan. And same going for Daniel Bouchard and Seth Cole, though Jesse Turner... Or no, Seth Cole did get damage. I thought he avoided everything, but I guess not. But anyways, as we get back up here to Charles Sanford, let's take a look and see what brought the caution out for the first time today here at Michigan. Well, here's a look at what happened. So they were 4 wide in turns 1 and 2. Dylan Young was all the way up to the top side. And what's going to happen is, because he's going to get really tight off the corner, he's going to make some contact into the outside concrete wall right there. Then comes down into Carson Gum and Jesse Turner. Jesse Turner about went upside down as a result. And then some cars getting boxed into all this. Meanwhile, Jesse Turner... pretty good lick into the outside wall, and then as Dylan Jacobs is trying to get through, he ends up turning the 2 and the 60 around, and then they're going to end up holding up the whole racetrack, and then you're going to see Alex Ferranti make contact with Carson Gum, and Dylan Poteet actually got in there as well. And Jonathan Zorlin, I don't know if he made contact with anybody, but man, what a catch he made with that car. Daniel Bouchard, actually, he did get damage from that whole ordeal. So now I'm just waiting for what happens when Cody Lamas, right there, he just sideswipes Carson Gum, and he sideswiped him so hard, that's what sent Carson Gum for a quick rollover as a result. That was a pretty hard impact for that 60 car. As let me try and find Cody Lamas and see how fast he was going as all this was happening. He's starting to slow down gradually, but then Risey gets through the smoke too late and ends up just slicing through the right side of Carson Gum's car, and that's what sends the 60 going upside down for a quick rollover as a result. But multi-car accident on the back straightaway at Michigan, probably going to take out quite a lot of drivers. Let's go ahead and take you to the restart here at Michigan. Well, after that first caution, we have 4 drivers out of the race, and they include Dylan Young, Carson Gum, Alex Ferranti, and Cody Lamas. Dylan Poteet and Joey Parkhill are a lap down, making this restart going to be really interesting now. But Charles Sanford is your leader. Second is Rafael Leduc. Third is Daniel DK. Fourth, Jordan Forbes. Fifth is Henry Sanford. 6th is Cole Deaver. 7th, Laney Marino. 8th, Matt McIntyre. 9th, Riley Henry. 10th, Charles Belding. 11th is Lisa Nelson. 12th, Lindsey Snyder. 13th, Michael Norman. 14th, Ryan Acosta. 15th, Melissa Alexander. 16th, Kyle Matthews. 17th, DJ Curtis. 18th, Scott Groverston. 19th, Alyssa Drayson. 20th, Matt Haas. 21st is Dylan Jacobs. 22nd, Quentin Moore. 23rd, Jonathan Zorline. 24th, Jay Jefferson. 25th, William Brock. 26th is Caleb Kilburn. 27th, Hannah Klein. 28th, Jessica Shelton. 29th, Keith Miller Jr. 30th, Daniel Voiles. 31st is James Qualls. 32nd, Seth Cole. 33rd, Daniel Bouchard. And 34th is Jesse Turner, with 35th and 36th being Dylan Poteet and Joey Parkhill a lap down respectively. But none of the leaders came in the pit road during that caution, so who knows when they'll come into pit road and if we're going to see a fuel mileage race come into play. But the pace car is pulled in to pit road and it's going to be 23 laps to go here at Michigan. Still a long way to go here at this 2-mile track. And yeah, those 2 lap cars are slow, really slow and off the pace. So I'm going to keep my eye on those 2 and see what happens. And with Poteet's car, it doesn't look that bad as far as cosmetic damage, but I guess it must have done some mechanical damage to that 31 car. And now they're both holding up a lot of drivers, so a lot of people are not going to be happy with the 31 and the 77 as a result of all this. But let's get back up to the front of the field, and Charles Sanford still leading the way. He has led every lap so far here at Michigan, but Rafael Leduc looking to change that as he's got a huge head of steam coming to the inside of the 03. All he needs to do is clear him and he'll get the lead. But it doesn't work just yet. They're still side by side, and Sanford just able to get that bigger run off the corner, off the top side, and carrying more speed. But can Leduc beat him out at the line here? As we're going to go to helicopter cam to watch and see. And, ooh, that was a dead heat at the line. I don't know who got the lead at the line. I think it was still Sanford by 1/100th of a second at the line. But still side by side between Leduc and Charles. And actually, speaking of Sanford's, there's Charles's brother Henry now trying to come into the picture. As meanwhile, still side by side between Charles and Leduc, but again, Charles just really strong on the outside lane. Unless the 03 goofs it up a bit, I don't know how you're going to be able to beat the 03 car, but Leduc is still there. Both ran relatively even lap times, although Leduc was 0.02 faster than Charles. As they're still going at it side by side for the spot. Ooh, a couple cars scraping the outside wall. Luckily, it didn't cause a crash there. But yeah, it almost seems as though you want to be on the top side off of turn 2. Turn 4, you can get the inside lane to work, but it just depends on who you have behind you. And Leduc kind of just gave up right there. And is going to fall back in line behind the 03, as meanwhile, drivers still going at for third on back. Daniel DK now moving up to the top side. I don't know if that's smart for him. It almost seems like as though Charles Sanford's car is built to run the top side, but nobody else can run the top side, whereas Charles, he's able to use the top side to his advantage and keep the top position on the track. Looking around the field for any slow cars, and yeah, 3 of them off the pace. Or actually make that 4 off the pace. Seth Cole, Joey Parkhill, Dylan Poteet, and Jesse Turner. Daniel Bouchard might be a tad, or he just lost the pack and just couldn't catch back up. Or he got held up by the slower cars that are behind him now. Meanwhile, Charles Sanford still leading the way. If he can lead a couple more laps, he'll get the bonus points for most laps led. But Rafael Leduc's not giving up. He's still there. He just needs to get that run and make the pass. But Michael Norman, who's in the third spot right now, the points leader, he wants to win this race really, really badly. And now Leduc, can he clear Sanford off of 4? Oh, can he do it? Yes, he does. But now Michael Norman's to the inside trying to make a move. But Rafael Leduc finally clears Charles Sanford to get to the race lead. But now he's got to try and hold off the rest of the field. And I was just looking at the fastest lap time, and so far that honor belongs to Jonathan Zorlin at a 36.119. And now Charles Sanford going to try and run the bottom and see if he can run just as good on the bottom as he did up top. But now they're about to catch the slower cars of Dylan Poteet and Jesse Turner. So this is not going to be pretty. Can everybody get by just fine? Whoa, the bottom lane got held up in a big way by Poteet, so that kind of spread out the group of cars up here a little bit. Now with Turner being in the way, it's causing this to happen even further. So now the top side getting held up by Poteet. But let's get back up to the front. Now there's a slight 3-car breakaway with Sanford, Leduc, and Norman. But they got another slow car to come up and deal with, and that's Joey Parkhill. So now the front of the field has really spread out as a result of catching slow traffic. And now because they had caught Joey Parkhill, now Charles grew his lead a little bit as a result, and now Jonathan Zorlin getting held up by the 77 of Parkhill. But you're starting to slowly see the group of cars kind of merge back together, and there's one more slow car to deal with for the moment, and that's Seth Cole. But Seth's still a little bit further ahead. Meanwhile, battle for second as Michael Norman trying to pass Rafael Leduc to get the spot, but now here comes the rest of the field, and Matt Haas, who we haven't talked about all race long, he's up here in the picture now in third. Now wants to get to second as Dylan Jacobs giving him that draft push into the corner, but now Jacobs trying to get to second. I thought we were under caution for a second. Now that they have caught Seth Cole, and now Seth Cole holding up the top side with Norman, Leduc, and Matthews. But we're getting closer and closer to possible pit stops here in this race, and then once they get in the pit road, that should do it as far as drivers having to come in for fuel and tires for the rest of the race. Only a one-stop race. But meanwhile, the pack's starting to catch back up to the 03 as Matt Haas leads the vanguard of cars trying to get up here. Dylan Jacobs trying to make something happen as he's trying to go to the top side and see if he can carry momentum and get to the 8 of Matt Haas. But he's got Alyssa Drayson to his inside, battling for that third spot. But I think Charles Sanford has now officially clinched the bonus points for most laps led. So this is going to be a big points day for him despite being 48th in the standings. It could really shoot him up way high outside the top 30 in the standings, but probably into like the top 40, maybe top 35. That's kind of stretching it though. But now here comes Sanford into the pits, bringing along Daniel DK, DJ Curtis, Jonathan Zorlin and company, all in the pit road to get the tires and fuel. But now the lead has been handed to Alyssa Drayson. Excuse me, I had a hiccup there. But let me go to Charles Sanford and see how he manages trying to get out of pit road as other drivers going to be coming out of pit road momentarily, and also to see what strategy they're cooking up. So far it looks like 2 tires and gas. Yeah, just 2 tires and fuel, and he comes out ahead of everybody. And now here comes most of the rest of the field, led by Alyssa Drayson, but Matt Haas staying out to get those valuable 5 bonus points. Although one other car that stayed out is James Qualls, and he pitted during that first caution, so he may be trying to stretch it out the rest of the way in hopes that he could snooker a win from everybody else. And I believe he is... because I'm waiting to see how the field's going to look now. But James Qualls currently leads, and he is the only one who is yet to come to pit road. But I remember he pitted during that first caution out on lap 5 or 6. So he may not be able to make it the rest of the way, but he's going to try and stretch it out as long as he can in hopes that he can probably take the win away from whoever's going to have the lead. But nope, never mind. He's coming into pit road now. And I think Alyssa Drayson may have taken the lead away as a result of the pit stops. Well, there's Matt Haas, who's now coming out of the pits, but he's going to lose quite a few spots as a result. So it looks like Alyssa Drayson is going to have the race lead now. Oh, Matt Haas, is he going to try and... oh, he tried to slow down the momentum of everybody else, and he kind of did for the most part, which helped to bring everybody else back to the back bumper of Alyssa Drayson. And here comes Daniel DK in the 66 to try and get the lead. But you got DJ Curtis up in the mix too, and Charles Sanford trying to get back to the front again as he's going to the inside to get to second and third respectively. And maybe trying to get underneath of DK a little bit because he's got a full head of steam. But now slow car is going to be in the way. And that kind of helped DK a little bit because Charles had to back out of the gas just a tad to avoid everything. And a smart move on the part of DK and Sanford going to the top side when they saw Daniel Bouchard come into the picture, and he's slow. And he ends up holding up everybody else behind them. 6 laps to go, and Daniel DK searching for his first career win, not only in the Marvel Studios Cup Series, but in his NR 2003 career. Right now has a bit of a gap between himself and the most dominant car of the day, Charles Sanford. And all DK has to do is just try and hold off everybody else, and he will get his golden ticket to victory lane. But the race ain't over till it's over. And Charles Sanford has shown that he has been so strong this entire race. Although you gotta wonder if those adjustments they may have made to that 03 car have started to hurt him a little bit, because now the outside lane is not really working for him, as now he's about to get passed by 2 cars, DJ Curtis and Jordan Forbes. Maybe could get passed by even more cars because he's stuck on the top side. It looks like the top side momentum has gone away, and now you want to go to the inside to get positions. 4 laps to go now here at Michigan for Daniel DK. Although DJ Curtis trying to run him down, but Jordan Forbes and Dylan Jacobs, Shadow Call Racing teammates, now we're trying to somewhat work together to get up there, but Jacobs now has Melissa Alexander to his inside, unless he can clear heading into 3, but doesn't quite carry the momentum. I believe that was Joey Parkhill I saw go into pit road, but less than 3 laps to go now here at Michigan. DK trying to hold everybody off, but a lot of drivers looking to snooker a win away. Melissa Alexander, who's suddenly come out of nowhere, making moves left, right, and center, Now working to get to third, but left the inside open for Charles Sanford to make another move. But it looks like Melissa has a stronger car now than Charles, and Charles's momentum is basically stalled out. 2 laps to go here at Michigan, and Melissa Alexander's got a big run, and she's going to have momentum to the inside of DK to get to the lead. Side by side, the 78 and the 66. But the 66 still got a bit of momentum off the top side. Maybe he's going to try and use the Charles Sanford strategy and use the top side to his advantage to carry speed and keep the spot, although that time everybody left him hanging to dry, and now Melissa Alexander has the lead, but DJ Curtis with a run as the white flag is out. Anything can happen up here at the front. Melissa Alexander looking for her first win of the season, but DJ Curtis looking to return to former glory as he's got to run to the inside with help from teammate Jonathan Zorline. Although he slowed down in a big way off the corner, basically giving the lead back to the 78. DJ's going to have one final shot here in 3 and 4, but I don't think it's going to be enough, as we're getting ready to come off of turn 4 for the final time. First win of the season, not only for herself, but for her team of Zev Bellringer Enterprises. Melissa Alexander wins the Radmin VPN 400 at Michigan. Where did she come from? Because for a long time she was in the top 10, but not anywhere close to being up at the front. Suddenly, her car just came alive in the final 6 laps, made gradual moves up through the front, made the pass, held everybody off, and Melissa Alexander wins here today at Michigan. But let's look at the rest of the results. Daniel DK, so close again to getting a win, but still a great points day, finishing in the 6th position. This could possibly put him back into the points lead. I'm not sure. We'll have to wait and see. But it definitely would put him close to it at the bare minimum. But still a great run in 2nd despite that win slipping away once again. DJ Curtis also let that win slip away, but first top 5 finish of the season, his first top 5 in quite a long time, as he finishes in 3rd. Charles Sanford, the dominant car of the day. Just after that pit stop, his car stalled out, but still a great run in 4th, and then Jonathan Zorlane with a solid performance in 5th. Alyssa Drayson with her first top 10 in a little while, finishing in 6th. Dylan Jacobs, solid performance in 7th. That's definitely going to help him out a little bit. Jordan Forbes with a great run in 8th. Matt Haas, first top 10 finish of the season in 9th. And then Quentin Moore with yet another top 10 in the 10th spot. Then there is your top 20, top 30, and the bottom 5 for this week was Dylan Poteet, Dylan Young, Carson Gum, Alex Ferranti, and Cody Lamas. So that does it for our coverage here today at Michigan for the Radmin VPN 400. Next race, we head to a brand new track, Toledo. But until then, here's Melissa Alexander's victory burnout and the point standings heading into Toledo. And this is Levi McIntyre signing off.